Let's turn now to the tense situation in Venezuela as new protests are planned for later today. This as President Trump appears to contradict his own senior national security officials when it comes to Russia's involvement in Venezuela's political crisis, appearing to take President Vladimir Putin's word on the subject.
And he is not looking at all to get involved in Venezuela, other than he'd like to see something positive happen for Venezuela. And I feel the same way.
Now, just to put this in perspective, earlier in the week, the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, President Trump's Secretary of State, accused Russia of directly interfering by telling the embattled Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, to stay in the country. Venezuela is now bracing for a new round of protests, as we said, and ABC's senior foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, is right there on the ground in Caracas with the latest. Ian, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. That's right. After days of violent unrest on the streets of Caracas, Venezuela's opposition leader, Juan Guaido, now speaking to ABC News in a rare face-to-face interview. Earlier this week, Guaido directly challenged Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, calling for the overthrow of the government. Now, what followed were intense protests met by violence from the government, with tear gas, rubber bullets and water cannon all used. Sadly, at least 4 people are dead, hundreds injured and scores arrested. Now, Guaido is backed by the US and more than 50 countries around the world, but he told me Maduro is receiving foreign military assistance.
The only intervention that exists today in Venezuela is from Cuba, who comes here to do military intelligence, and Russian military planes coming into Venezuela without the authorization from the Venezuelan parliament.
Guaido tweeting Friday night that his supporters will, quote, mobilize the main military units against President Nicolas Maduro. But this is going to be a real test of his strength and that of his supporters. There's been criticism that he failed to get enough military defectors or people onto the streets. And some are asking not when, but whether he can bring about the change so desperately needed here. So what happens on those streets behind me in the next few hours is going to be critical. Whit?
All right, a rapidly developing situation. Ian Pannell for us in Venezuela. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.